2025 NHL Entry Draft came to an end a month ago, and with the European hockey preseason underway once again, it means that we get to see some of Finland's top talents hit the ice. And that said, here's what you need to know about each of the prospects that were selected in Los Angeles over the summer. In this video, we will go through the 8 prospects selected, their most notable strengths, their weaknesses, and what next season has in store for them, or when they might be able to move to the North American professional circuit. If you want to see last year's prospect evaluation videos, you can find them in the description. We will begin with Lasse Boelius, who was selected 60th overall by the Anaheim Ducks. Draft projections showed that the first Finnish prospect would likely be selected in the late second round or early third, but Anaheim decided to take the asset prospect with the 5th last selection in the second round. From projections, it certainly seemed like Boelius would be the first selected, and multiple different sources ranked him near the end of the second round. Quite simply put, Boelius is an almost offensive defenseman, borderline two-way, with an intense amount of speed. I say borderline because his poke check is decent, but he's not as actively involved in physical forechecks or hits along the boards. Additionally, if the opposition decides to go on a counterattack, he is so far up the ice sometimes that it becomes tough for his side to properly defend, with odd man rushes suddenly created. That said, if he moves to North America, he would be best paired with a defensive-minded defenseman or a two-way forward that can bring the physicality that he may not have. His passing completion rate is reported to have finished above 90% in the 2024-25 season, easily making him one of the best talents in the under-20 SM-sarja in that regard, but it should be highlighted that most of these are lateral, short passes. He tends to give the puck away when being forced into tight corners by the opposition, and long passes from his own end, from what I've seen, are not quite his specialty. Boelius played 34 games with the under-20 team, finishing with 4 goals and 18 points. He was also promoted to Liga at various different times during the season, debuting in September against TPS, and finishing with 2 assists over 7 games, one against Saipa in October and the other against Ilves at the start of January. He tied with 3 forwards for the top spot in scoring among the Finnish team at the Under-18 World Championship in Texas, and finished with 24 points over 24 games with friendlies included. The second Finnish player selected was Tappara center Benjamin Rautiainen, selected by the Tampa Bay Lightning with the 108th overall pick in the draft. This is the second consecutive year the Bolts have selected a Finnish center below 100th in the draft, as Joonas Saarelainen was picked 149th last year from the Kaupa Academy. Rautiainen was also a key player to watch in the World Junior Championship team that finished second, memorably scoring the semi-final winning goal in the last-minute overtime against Sweden. That deciding shot against the Swedes was a prime example of something that we saw from him throughout the tournament, and throughout the season with Tappara picking out passes or scoring opportunities from tough angles or through screens. Another thing that really stood out to me during the World Junior Championship was his ability to quarterback the team's attacking play, entering through the central and right sides of the neutral zone and in a 3-2 formation, constantly keeping an eye on the players on the wings before making a calculated passing decision. Like Boelius on the defensive side, Rautiainen is known for his poke checks, but he repeatedly fails to win one-on-one physical battles. And while it's not his top priority as an attack-minded forward, he will need to improve in this regard as the North American playing style is quite unforgiving. There are a few positives to staying in Liga for the 2025-26 season, and prospects in Europe get this benefit compared to North American prospects in the OHL, NCAA, and so on. They get to play with and against veterans that are stronger than them, and get to learn how to adapt to tough players through first-hand experience. Even if he moves to North America, he could gain experience in Syracuse adapting to the smaller ice sheet and the level of physicality that the NHL and AHL bring. Of the 8 Finnish prospects that were selected, he was the only one to have played his entire season in Liga. With Tappara, he played 50 regular season games, finishing with 10 goals, 33 points, and a +4 rating. He then had 2 goals and 4 points in 9 playoff appearances. It should be mentioned that of the 12 goals he scored in total, 4 were against Kiekko goaltender and Leijonat teammate Petteri Rimpinen alone, with another 2 having come against Kauko. With the Leijonat, he registered 4 goals and 14 points in 16 games, including 2 goals and 4 points in 7 games at the World Junior Championship tournament. Next on the list is Westergård, who was projected to go late in the first round at the start of the season, but significantly dropped in projections during the season, and was drafted in the 5th round 132nd overall by the Philadelphia Flyers. There are multiple reasons why he dropped in the rankings. First, in the Swedish under-20 leagues with Frölunda, and especially in the SHL playoffs, he struggled to win one-on-one battles. Second, he has the shot power required, but he needs to improve in terms of shot accuracy, as from the footage I saw quite a few of his opportunities were sent wide of the goal, particularly to the right. Third, even on wing-to-wing passes, he's prone to giving away the puck, sometimes creating dangerous turnovers as a result. However, especially on the first point, this does not mean that he does not try. He's not afraid to get into these physical battles, even if he knows he might lose them, and the line around him will try and make sure that there is a second, stronger player around to cover the space if the puck is turned over. His skating ability, off-puck movement, and speed are worth mentioning as major benefits to his game, and his positioning at the front of the net to gather juicy rebounds is why he finished with just over a point per game. It'll take a lot of training to become a more versatile prospect in the Flyers system, but he seems to be very committed to doing so, and the future is bright for him. He's already reached the point threshold in the under-20 league to be considered regularly for the SHL, so if he moves up to the SHL next season and plays a full year there, having already gotten a taste of playoff hockey in the Swedish top flight, then there should be some notable improvements made. Of the 8 prospects selected in the draft, he is the only one not to be playing in Liga under 20 SM-sarja or under 18 SM-sarja. In the under 20 National League in Sweden, he finished with 19 goals and 50 points in 41 games, while in the SHL he went without a point in 4 regular season games but added a goal and 3 points in 11 playoff games. With the peak with Leijonat to the under 18 World Championship, he finished with 2 goals and 6 points in 5 games, and in all competitions he posted 8 goals and 20 points in 23 games. Next is local center Atte Joki, who was selected by the Dallas Stars with the 146th overall pick. Joki and Westergård actually have something in common. They were both part of the Tappara Academy before going to Rauma and competing with Lukko at the under 18 level. Joki has since been promoted to the under 20 level, and last season he finished with just under a point per game, 15 goals and 32 assists in 40 games. He was also one of 2 alternate captains on the under 18 World Championship team, the other being Jesper Kotajärvi, who went undrafted, and with that team he failed to register a point in 5 appearances. I have mentioned quite a few times in prior videos and articles how the Finnish academies are focused on developing players with speed as a key factor, and how quick wing-based hockey seems to be how Finnish teams have succeeded in the last decade. Interestingly enough, Joki does not quite fit the speed-based characteristic as well as positioning, and he has a tendency to overskate the puck, losing control of it and unable to keep pace whenever the opponent heads the other way on a counter. He still has time to work on these factors, but for now he is more of a defensive-minded forward, and if he moves to Texas to play in the AHL, then he would be great on the 3rd or 4th forward pairing. He can pressure opponents along boards and can dish a solid hit, making calculated decisions to avoid penalties. He can win one-on-one battles for loose pucks, and his net front presence is crucial, able to pick out rebounds whenever they spring in front of him. So again, there are obvious reasons why he was not a 1st or 2nd round prospect, but that does not matter as much if he goes through a decent development pathway in the years ahead. Knowing that he's unlikely to be the top priority of the Texas Stars just yet, I can see him playing for Lukko and Liga for the next 2 years to improve his attacking skill set while also facing players stronger than he is, and thus improving his overall defensive capabilities. Next is Kiekko Espoo goaltender Petteri Showtime Rimpinen, who went to the Los Angeles Kings with the 152nd overall pick. This was Rimpinen's 2nd year of eligibility, and he was honestly one of my favorites to evaluate in the 2024-25 season because of how great his debut season was in Liga, as well as how important he was to Finland's silver medal campaign at the World Junior Championship. It was quite surprising that he dropped this low in the draft, given that he was playing quite well for a debut season with the senior Kiekko Espoo side, as I mentioned, and nearly helped them eliminate reigning champions Tappara in the 5th game of their wildcard series. Rimpinen's best strength is probably his quick reactions to attempts, especially on rebounds when he can control opportunities in the low slot. He is much better with his glove hand than his blocker and can stop most opportunities that come to him glove side. Of course, there are rare exceptions, such as the Rauhala overtime winning goal in the 5th and deciding game of this year's wildcard series, but he has the right side of the net covered most of the time. His blocker side and his control of the left side of the net in general is less consistent. The United States in particular exposed this weakness in their group stage defeat at the World Junior Championship, scoring all 3 of their goals into the left corners, and from there, what did Slovakia do in the quarterfinal? They pestered Rimpinen blocker side and scored twice, one top left, and the other when he was down low on a scramble in front with the Slovaks 6-on-5. Sweden got the opener blocker side in the semi-final, and then got an opportunity that deflected off Rimpinen in on that same side for the 3rd goal. The Americans took a hard shot from the point in the gold medal game, blocker side, that deflected in. The Americans were the ones to determine that this was a problem for Rimpinen. The rest of the field took notice and went for the left side of the net, and he conceded 10 of the 13 goals from this side of the tournament because of it. Like Emil Vini, who I scouted last year, he used to charge out of his net and play in a more aggressive format, but since November he now plays somewhere between base and conservative, which is ideal for a netminder of his frame, not giving opponents an opportunity for an easy wraparound, but not extremely close to his net that the top corners are left completely exposed. Overall, Rimpinen is a great netminder with a lot of potential, and the Kings organization are very fortunate to have him at such a steal in the 5th round, going from one crown to another if and when he makes his way to North America. With Kiekko Espoo in Liga, he played 40 regular season games, finishing with a 16-9-14 record, 2.35 goals against, and a .912 save percentage, both just slightly below goaltender of the season, Niklas Rubin. At the World Junior Championship, he made all 7 appearances, winning 5 of the games with a 2.34 goals against and a 933 save percentage. In all competitions with the Nordic Leijonat, he finished with a 1.79 goals against and a 915 save percentage over 10 games. From one underrated prospect in the World Junior team to another, next on the list is two-way defenseman Daniel Nieminen, who went to the Nashville Predators in the 6th round with the 163rd overall selection. This was also his second year of eligibility, as he could have been picked last year, but he improved significantly in terms of his skill set in Liga this year compared to with the under-20 SM-sarja team before that, and after a quality campaign in Ottawa where he finished with a +4 rating and assisted on 2 goals against Latvia and Slovakia, it impressed NHL scouts enough that he had to be picked. Nieminen worked well on both sides of the point during the World Junior Championship, but was primarily placed along the left point by Lauri Mikkola alongside Atte Joki on the second defensive pairing. Not only were point shots a strength of his during the tournament, as well as in his Liga season with Pelicans, but on special teams as well. In power play scenarios, he would do well quarterbacking the play and moving closer to the high slot when needed, and penalty kill scenarios he stays close to the netminder, trying to make sure that the spaces in the low slot are covered. His positioning is decent, he is constantly aware that a counter can take place at any moment, so he stays back when his side's on the attack and is first to skate back if something goes awry. And his skating ability is excellent as well, turning on a dime when required and very rarely losing his footing. Defensively, he can push opponents along the boards with size and wins one-on-one battles, whether by dishing hits or through poke checks, as he has the reach there as well. However, he needs to improve his timing on certain hits, as he has taken some unnecessary penalties. From the games I scouted, this was especially the case against Latvia at the World Junior Championship, as the second penalty of that game allowed Latvia to gain a significant amount of momentum in a 1-goal matchup. Overall, he is a solid and quite reliable defenseman, played 39 games in the Liga season with 4 goals and 11 points, and added 3 goals and an assist in the relegation phase against Jokerit, scoring a goal in each of the first 3 matchups. If he stays in Liga next season, he will make a decent amount of progress with a Pelicans team that might allow him to move up to the first defensive pairing from the second. The earliest I can see a move to the AHL happening is in 2027, but Nieminen has a lot of good skills that he might be able to transfer to North America sooner than that. If his 2025-26 Liga season ends with an increased point total, in the 20 to 30 point range ideally, then he might be able to show Barry Trotz and those in Predators management what he can bring to the table in Milwaukee. 7th on the list is Reko Alanko, who went to the Utah Mammoth in the 6th round with the 182nd overall selection. Alanko's had an interesting development pathway to get to this point, as he's gone through 3 different academies in Kiekko Espoo, Jup, and Jokerit really quickly, promoted to the under-20 team in the second half of this past season, and is going to the main team in 2025-26 after playing just 13 games with the under-20 side. Before the draft, I saw scouts calling him 2 things, a two-way defenseman and a defensive defenseman, and in my opinion, it really varies game by game. Part of the reason why he got promoted to Mestis as quickly as he did, and maybe part of why he was drafted, is because he is well above the physical strength of players at the under-18 and under-20 levels. 6'6", 207 pounds, and when he delivers a hit, opponents really feel the force of that. His positioning ability is decent, as like Nieminen, and he stays back in case of an odd-man rush or quick counterattack, even though he could also be very effective in screening an opposing netminder. On the attack, he strategically uses his speed to cut to inside angles, and will wait as long as he needs to while maintaining possession to find decent passing lanes. He does not take too many shots, and when he does, they're not very accurate, so he will need to work on this, but with a year or 2 at the senior level, he might improve in this regard. Alanko's current contract with Jokerit expires at the end of the 2025-26 season, with an option to extend to 2027. If he permanently stays with the senior Jokerit team and does not get demoted back to the under-20 SM-sarja at any point, he will likely be on the 3rd or 4th defensive line with an opportunity to promote to the top 2 lines in the following season, given that Teemu Sohonen, Ronu Ahonen, Ville Jaskanen, and Ben Blood have not moved to other teams yet and have practically confirmed their spots in the top 2 lines for next season. With the under-18 team, he finished the 2024-25 season with 4 goals and 13 points in 33 games, and added 2 assists with the under-20 team over 13 games in the SM-sarja as mentioned earlier. Last but not least is goaltender Daniel Salonen, picked in the 6th round by the Edmonton Oilers with 191st overall selection. Salonen was with the Lukko under-20 team for most of the season, posting an incredible 23-1-0 record in the under-20 SM-sarja with a 1.55 goals against and a 933 save percentage. He also picked up a victory in his only match with the Nordic Leijonat. He won both the Jorma Valtonen-palkinto as the best goaltender in the league and the Teemu Selanne-palkinto as the best player in the league. With the departures of both Joni Ortio and John Letheman, not only will Salonen be promoting to Liga, but he will also be getting playing time with the main team as backup to new acquisition and NHL veteran Antti Ranta. Oilers Nation pointed out shortly after the draft that nobody from a major scouting organization kept an eye on Salonen, probably because most of them thought that he would not get drafted. That only makes sense because he was not even in the top 15 in the European International goaltending rankings, and everyone was focused on Kalpa Academy netminder Petteri Rimpinen, who was on that list but went undrafted. I watched a few of Lukko's games in this past under-20 SM-sarja season, mainly keeping an eye on other prospects but watching his movements as well. This was in mid-February when he was trying to return to form after a brief stint in Mestis, and I can firmly say that his main strength is in his glove hand. He relies on this heavily, using it instead of the blocker on the right side of the net at times. He uses his pads well, and his split-second timing to deny rebounds is also worth noting as a strength, even from the low slot. He is unafraid to play the puck from behind the net, something that Rimpinen does not do as often, and his passes are quite accurate. Salonen's primary weakness is that he is slightly low to the ground, allowing for opponents to pick out the top left and top right corners from close range. This is very similar to Jakob Malik, who is 1 inch taller than he is, but he has time to work on this, and he will likely make significant progress in this regard by the time that his current 2+1 year contract ends in the summer of 2027. If he performs well in Liga and plays a sufficient amount of games in the season, then the Oilers might consider a move to Bakersfield, but the Oilers have Emil Vinny and Samuel Jansson to develop first before Salonen can be considered, so it would have to be in 2 or 3 years. Still, he is a quality goaltender to keep an eye on for the future. That is it for this video. With the Liga, Mestis, and under-20 SM-sarja hockey seasons officially starting in early September, I will try and cover as much as I can. I'll post from time to time on the Torille newsletter, and possibly live blog games during the year, whenever I have the opportunity in between semester coursework and internship. Like this past holiday season, I will be covering all Finland games of the 2026 IIHF World Junior Championship on my X account and possibly Blue Sky between the 26th of December and the 5th of January, so keep an eye on that as well. You can find the preliminary schedule of live blogs on my Instagram account, as I posted it when the IIHF released the official schedule last month. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you loved it, feel free to subscribe to the channel and tell your friends about it. I'll be posting a few more videos throughout the month of August, some relating to hockey and others to football. It should be noted that regarding prospect videos, this video came out in August due to covering the 2025 IIHF World Championship and then the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, and if I decide to make a similar video next year, it will also have to be around this time of year, since I will be covering the 2026 FIFA World Cup when it comes to Toronto. Keep an eye on my socials for more updates relating to Finnish hockey as well as other sports, as well as the Torille newsletter for information directly relating to Liga, Mestis, and the national teams. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.